Hey, so today's tutorial is all about finding royalties for your plays, requesting licenses, and making sure that you know exactly what to do, how to pay. Maybe you've done it before and you just forgot, or maybe you haven't done it since everything's been online, or maybe you've never done it before. So I'm just going to show you, walk you through my process and what I would do if I were working on these individual shows and try to get through and show you how to request some royalties. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to look through a few of just my favorite websites that I use when I'm looking for shows and when I'm actually looking to pay my royalties. So first off is Dramatic Publishing. So here I would search for a specific play that I wanted to do. In this case, I'm just going to find a title that I like. So let's do Radium Girls. That sounds great. So here's where I would be able to purchase scripts. When you're talking about straight plays, not musicals, you actually purchase the scripts. You do not buy a perusal copy, or rent a perusal copy, I should say. You actually buy your copy and it's for you to keep. And then you also need to buy enough scripts for all of your cast members. Now, if I want to do Radium Girls, I've read it, I've decided it will work for us, then I would go here and apply for rights, and then I would need to log in and create an account. And you may have to create an account if you haven't already. And then what you would do is you would apply for rights, and notice that a lot of these now have live stream and record and stream rights available. And those are very specific contracts that give you time to be able to show your show on a specific platform, and you only have within a certain time period to show it. So it can still be like one night only or something like that. So there is tight control over those things. So if you're planning on recording something, make sure that you pay for those live stream and record and stream rights. So we're going to apply for rights. I have chosen Radium Girls. I'll save and continue. And then ask my organization is, and whatever you are. I'm going to say K-12 school. No, this production will not be touring. And then it wants you to put in all of your dates, number of performances, website permissions, and so on and so on and so on. Steps 5 and 6 will ask you about cutting and competition if that's what you're using it for. You still have to pay royalties if you're doing cuttings or competition, or using a script for competition. You can always save in the middle, and then you'll finalize the quote. So plays range in price. When you're doing a full-length production, it can be anywhere between $90 and $300, just depending per performance, just depending on the popularity of the show you pick, the publishing company, all that kind of stuff. So let's go over to Dramatist Play Services. This is another one where you're going to find tons of awesome shows. So let's do the Glass Menagerie. Everybody knows that one. So here I am. All I need to do now is click the Apply for Rights button. This one is very specific. It says $120 per performance. So you can see that it's just not that expensive to perform a straight play, because usually you have one playwright that money is going, splitting between them and the publishing company. And so we'll click Apply for Rights. Non-professional performance, and then professional performance. So you're always going to have to say, am I an amateur group? Am I a professional group? Am I a school? So you're going to need to say, when you're opening and closing, the cost of tickets, where it is. They always want to know where it's going to be, because they don't want 5 schools in the area all doing the Glass Menagerie all at once. And then you submit your application, and my experience with Dramatist Play Services is that, and really any time you're doing a straight play, that means not a musical, just a regular play, you will get a response right away. So they usually don't take time to process if you're an amateur group. If you're a professional group, it may take longer because usually you have more contracts. It also depends on how new the play is. Recently, I did a play where they were actually, I was one of the first 5 to actually perform this show, and so I had a lot more paperwork to do, just I think because they were hammering out the details of their contracts with their artists. So here's Concord Theatricals. If you're looking for Samuel French, that was what it used to be called, and now it's kind of under the banner of Concord Theatricals, and I have pulled up the Scarlet Letter here. With Concord and also with Musical Theater International, they do this thing where you can get an estimate, and basically it asks you for the same information. So I'll show you how they do that. So what you do is you put in where you are, and I just put in a random place. I just put in like $5 ticket prices. Of course, probably you could, let's say 10. I mean, a lot of people have different range. It just depends, of course, on your audience. Expected attendance for each performance, I put 200. You could put 600. It doesn't matter. And then how many performances you're going to have, let's say 6. And so this is the estimate for total royalties, not including scripts. Of course, you have to buy scripts and pay for shipping on scripts, so it would be $540. So then I can decide if I want to request the license. By the way, just because you request the license doesn't mean that you have to commit to doing that show, that you have to sign the contract. Basically, once you pay, that's you saying that you're officially doing this. So that's usually how that works. So let's look at a couple of musicals. So here, I pulled up The King and I on Concord Theatricals, and as far as getting an estimate and requesting a license is basically the same, except for that the price is significantly higher when you're finished. So this is, I think, to do The King and I for about the same number of performances and things that I said. It was like $1,500. But if I wanted to do Mamma Mia, so I go over to Musical Theater International, I'll say I want to do Mamma Mia. What you do is you use this cost estimator to estimate your cost before you decide. So, what's my ticket price? Okay, I'm going to say my ticket price is $12. I'm going to have 300 people in the audience, and we're going to run for 2 weeks. Okay, for a recent example, let's look for Annie. Okay. So here we are looking at Annie, and let's go to the cost estimator. Number of performances. Let's say 6. Okay, and 2 weeks. So based on my number of performances, this is the approximate cost. I would say this is an average cost. And, back at Mamma Mia, I had it up to, I think, more like 15 performances. So this is right in the range what you would typically pay for a musical, based on ticket sales being what they are. What's funny is that, of course, all of that estimated $18,000 they think that you're going to make is most of it went into the production. So one thing that's really important to know about Musical Theater International is that you need to be signed up with an organization in order to actually request a license. So I'm not able to show you right now how to fill out the license request form. It's basically like the other forms that we've already looked at today, and it asks similar questions to that cost estimator that I showed you. But the difference is that you have to be logged in with your organization, because what they do is they connect anybody in your organization that's requesting royalties kind of has to approve of your request. So that's different than like Concord Theatricals, where when you put down your organization, they just sort of accept that you are part of that organization. As long as you pay your royalties, you're fine. So MTI does a little bit extra step with that, and that just has to do with trying to make sure that everybody who's requesting royalties and basing it on a certain organization is legitimately part of that organization ahead of time. So if you're just somebody who's putting on a show on your own, you're producing your own production and no one else produces anything in your organization, then it can be a fairly simple process of just creating your own account, and that is sort of a step that you won't have to go through. But I would have to pull up my own organization's information to show you, and so I'm not going to be able to do that on this tutorial. But keep in mind that the form that you're going to fill out is very similar to the other forms that we've been looking at, and it asks for very similar information. Now, if we go to theatricalrights.com, Theatrical Rights Worldwide owns quite a few shows, including Spam-A-Lot, which is what I was just looking for here. So I was going to just type in Spam-A-Lot. And they have a really cool socially distant concert-ish version. So I thought that was really interesting, and I wanted to see what it looked like to apply for a license there. So I have already logged in, so I made an account. It's very easy to make an account. Then I'm going to put in what I want to do. Again, I need to say, am I an amateur or professional? And then put in all of the information in the form, and then submit the form. And then they will get back to you on that with an email. So to let you know whether or not you can get rights for that. And again, you don't commit until you actually pay the royalty for that. Every theatrical rights company is quite a bit different. They all have access to different shows. You can see that musicals tend to be more complicated to get licenses for than straight plays. Both are a joy to produce, and of course we want to support artists, so we want to go ahead and make sure that we pay for those. That's generally how you request royalties, how you request a license to perform plays and musicals. Hope that's helpful. Don't forget to put questions in the comments section, and of course the highest compliment you can give us is a thumbs up. Thanks.